Okay, so freedom, that's a big word. I wanted to just share my thoughts about this word freedom because it's come up several times in conversations. And of course, it's, a new year. And I guess that word gets thrown around an awful lot. And of course, people just in general are like, I want to be freer, free to do what I want, blah, blah, blah. And, have you ever thought about, first of all, when people talk about, I want to be free, it's usually followed by the statements of, I want to be free to do the things I want to do, to, I don't know, drive around in a camper van and not be stick it to the man, blah, 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 to be free to do whatever I want to do. And all this freedom talk is usually about free to do all these external things in this world. And yes, that is a beautiful thing. And that's a real longing. But this feeling of being free makes me even want to cry. Have you ever, first of all, it is in every, well, I would say it is in every human being, but not every human being is ready to hear that call. And have you ever investigated like where that feeling comes from? Where did it just suddenly pop up? If you investigate that feeling of freedom, you turn within, you go, where is this coming from? What do you mean freedom? That freedom word will turn into, this is what freedom means. It is about, it's going to feel like, I want to be free. I want to be expanded. I want to be free of this body with no boundaries. That's what it's going to feel like. And that feeling, that desire does not come from the mind. It is, as I was doing like a little channeling, let's see if I can, it says, where does this feeling or desire of freedom come from? It comes from deep within you, the you that is not yet free. It is your inner calling of light that is looking for manifestation. This longing is ethereal or of the ether. It is not a voice in the head, but a calling of the soul to be free from the mind's influence. And if you're feeling this calling of freedom, this is an inner God calling. But when the mind recognizes this, it takes this feeling and turns it into and externalizes it into all these actions that I want to do and be and not be part of this world. I want to get away, blah, blah, blah. But this feeling of freedom, what it actually is, it's your true self, your spirit, it's Kundalini, the divine mother, it's your consciousness. It is your consciousness that is still, I'm not going to say sleeping, but resting and imprisoned in your lower root Muladhara chakra. And she is screaming. If you're hearing this calling and this desire is in you for freedom, it has nothing to do with outer world freedom. And I would say now is the time to pay attention to Kundalini, to your spirit, whatever you want to call it. But this is the time to go within and recognize that your consciousness, your spirit is calling for its own evolution. And I will go back to the little channeling I did. It says, the mind, because we were saying the soul is looking to be free of the mind's influence. It too is on a journey of evolution like your mind. Your soul, your consciousness is on a journey of evolution just like your mind. And it is thus so far been imprisoned by the grip of the mind, because the mind is a scaredy cat, as it feels, ironic use of words. It feels as if it must control the entire universe so that it maintains its corner of its own prison cell. If only the mind were to look around and see that it indeed can be free too. Free to create with God, for God, rather than the devil. We speak metaphorically, of course. You see, freedom is a movement of consciousness from the prison of the root chakra, or it's another density. It's actually below the root chakra, but that's neither here nor there. It is wanting to be, it's the movement of consciousness looking to be freed from the root chakra into the upper veils beyond the chakras. When your consciousness is allowed to rise up and pass through the imprisonment of the body. This is why when you go and you check, you try to find that feeling of freedom in your body, like where is that coming from? And you get the feeling that it wants to be expansive and beyond the body. Yes, it does. Your consciousness wants to be free. Awareness, consciousness, awareness, we'll use those same, wants to be free and outside of the body. And this can only happen when we take the inward journey and begin working with the Divine Mother, Divine Spirit, Kundalini, whatever you want to call it. This is the only way you're going to find true freedom. Because when you're just working with the mind's idea of freedom, you're stepping in from one prison cell to another, because you're like, I want to be free to do whatever I want to do. I want to be free of this, whatever, shadow government, whatever you want to call it. It is a running away from, it is a freedom that's still full of aversions to life and to what is. From one prison cell to another prison cell. And this is not true freedom. From one prison to another thing, another full of images and values, and that's not true freedom. But when your consciousness is free, and now I speak from my own experience, I remember having that feeling of freedom, or longing for freedom, or actually that longing can come up for some people as freedom. Some of it can come up as love, because we have like a loving path, or we have the knowledge path. And I think people on the knowledge path would feel it more like, I need to be free. Or other people will feel it as love. That love is also expansive and free and not attached to the body. But regardless, I can truly now say that I understand what true freedom is. I am true freedom. I am freedom. And it's a feeling that no one can describe, but we try to be identified as this nothingness, everythingness, nowhere, everywhere, simultaneously feeling like the body, the individual, as well as the whole, seeing from the individual's eye and the one observer at the same time. That's true freedom. That's your consciousness is set free. And when consciousness is set free, when awareness is set free, then your attention Doesn't have to be right here in this body, in this reality. It can go anywhere. But you know what? At that point, it doesn't care. It's no longer has aversions to anything, and it's no longer imprisoned by the constant gripping of the mind, keeping it down. Okay, I think that's it. Let me just see. It is she who is calling, she, Kundalini, your consciousness, the divine mother, who wants to blossom within you. It is she who is calling you towards freedom, not the mind. This is a God calling, a God impulse, not a mind need. The mind, however, takes this calling and turns it into its own desires of freedom, to do, to free, to do whatever, but it's a life filled with aversions. This is not true freedom, is one prison cell to another. We are complete. So if you're feeling this urge of freedom, I say turn within and find real freedom. Okay, that's it.